Camel and Johnson gonna talk about sports today. You can disagree, I don't care what you have to say. Bet by odds, you know how Vegas play. 5 days go by, then you have the last say. Stephen A. and his sidekick Max, Nick Wright and Jenna get taxed. Shannon and Skip, Marcellus in the back. Big Whitlock got fired where you at. These sports reporters ain't giving you the facts. Don't bet your life cause you won't get it back. It's the Last Say podcast, that's where it's at. It's the Last Say, have a nice day. It's the Last Say, it's the Last Say. You see, by the dawn of daylight, I'm so proud in the air. And the twilight is evening, who's so bright and bright stars. Da 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 da. All right, that's enough of that. Welcome to the Last Say. I'm your host, Reginald Johnson. We got the presidential elections going on as we speak. 1 million votes was cast before Election Day. 80% of France wants Biden to take control because they can't take no more hostile U.S. engagements. So they want Trump out of there. Las Vegas got odds on the election today. Trump is plus 185, meaning if you bet $100, you'll get $185 back if Trump wins. Biden is minus $215, meaning you got to bet $215 to win 100. So they're favoring Biden. They're predicting Biden to win this election. This is the first presidential election where we had two candidates 70 years or older. No Republican has won the election without winning the state of Ohio. 28 states will not accept ballots after today, Tuesday. Well, what about the other 22 states? They're going to be accepting ballots after Tuesday? I think I have to agree with Trump on that one. That's not fair. Everybody knew today was election day. This should be, if post dated or not, if that ballot ain't in by today, hey, your vote shouldn't count. So I agree with that. Iowa said they would have their results tonight. Florida, Georgia, Arizona already began counting their votes. Pennsylvania said they never finished counting their votes on voting day. What kind of crap is that? You don't never finish counting your votes on voting day? Well, Pennsylvania, when are you going to finish counting the votes? Are you accepting votes after Tuesday? This is crazy. The independents favored Donald Trump. The White House party has been reduced from 400 people down to 250 because of COVID. Everybody attending will be tested for COVID before they enter. Georgia has over 1 million new voters. Let me give you some of the rundown, what's going on right now. Trump is winning Indiana. He's leading Florida, Kentucky, and South Carolina. Biden, Georgia, and New Hampshire, and Florida. 50% to 49.1%. So that's shocking. Biden is leading Florida by 1% so far, or 0.9. Go figure, and I can hear you. Okay. All right, we're going to take some calls. Hello, caller.
Hey, what's going on with you, brother?
Hey, how you doing? Where you calling from, sir?
I'm good. This is calling from the East Coast.
Okay, we just going over the election today, and we just want to get your insight on who you got, or if you don't want to give up who you voting for, just give me some feedback or your opinion on what's going on between Biden and Trump.
Well, no, I do think it's going to be a tight race. I don't think it's going to be a landslide. Given the hate for Trump, you would have thought that Biden would come out with a landslide, but I don't see that happening. And it's a good thing because that means that people turned out to vote, as we know, at record numbers. And I just hope that people get it right. I feel like Democrats want to hold Donald Trump accountable for things he said, things he's done that may not have been the best. But I want them to keep that same energy with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They don't want to hold them accountable. They want to just nitpick and throw stones at Trump, but they don't want to pay attention to things that have been said from their party. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that when you have that kind of mentality, you have a problem because that means you're biased. And if you want someone to be unbiased, as they keep saying, we want equality, you can't be that way. To make it a fair playing ground, hold everyone accountable for their actions and what they say. But they don't do that. They just nitpick at Trump and they want him out of there. And I do think that so many people on the Democratic side turned out because of their revenge vote. Deep down, I cannot tell me that you think that he's a great candidate for this country. He's been doing this thing for like 47 years, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Eight of which he's been vice president. And, it just seems like much of the same at this point from that party. Which is why I think he came in 2016 and took it away because people were tired of the same old politics. And you're getting the same old politics with Biden, I think.
Sounds like you voting for Trump.
I did what I thought was best for the country. Yeah.
Okay, all right, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your feedback. We're gonna go to the next caller.
Hello?
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 I am right here.
Okay, hey, how you doing? We just going over the
I'm excellent.
well, that's good. We just going over the election, taking calls. Want to know who you think should be running this country and why, and just get some feedback from your point of view.
Well, I'm actually not afraid to say, because, a lot of people, they pussyfooting around, and, people say, oh, I'm voting my conscience, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. I'm coming straight out. Trump 2020 all the way. Matter of fact, when Donald Trump ran this time and do 4 years, after he leave, I want Donald Trump Jr. to come in and do 8 years. After Donald Trump Jr. leave, I want his daughter, Ivanka, to come in and do 8 years. And then I want his little son, Byron. By that time, maybe he can run and do 8 years. I look at, there's almost 30 more years of Trump. Yeah, I want Trump.
Oh, wow. This is the first time I've ever heard somebody say that.
Yeah, because I'm telling you like this. See, the thing about it that people fail to realize is the United States of America is supposed to be ran like a business. And Washington, D.C. is where the president is. And it's all a corporation. You see? So the whole thing is supposed to be ran like a business, which it is, and it has not been ran. It's been ran politically, and that's why it's failed. So Donald Trump has come in and tried to clean up years and years and years of corruption and years of people having meetings about things, and they never did anything but make a mess. So he's running it like a business, and he needs more time to finish what he started, because all the jobs been sent out to other countries. So how can you have all jobs sent out to another country, and then they send you the goods, but they don't want to pay import, export tax, and then you got to pay them to manufacture everything. But then the United States not making any money. And then on top of that, how can somebody want to vote for Joe Biden You know, everybody knows he been in Congress seemed like 100 years. Tipping around, doing all sorts of things. Who knows what Joe Biden had his hand in? But I do know some facts. He said in 1973 that he knew how to deal with the Negro. He knew what was best for the Negro. Then so he came on with all the crime bills. What he helped write and push into legislation the mandatory minimums, the free strike laws, and all these other crime bills that have been geared toward the incarceration of black people. You know, and then his son used to be a DA over in Delaware. And his son, that was Bo, which he's deceased now. So I'm just gonna speak his facts and leave that alone because he's deceased. So Bo and Kamala Harris were best friends. So Kamala Harris was DA in California. Bo was DA in Delaware. And both of them locked up thousands of black people with the crime bills that Joe Biden wrote. And this is how Joe Biden got to know Kamala Harris through his son, which was best friends with Kamala Harris. So I sit back and I look at things. Now I'm looking at how Joe Biden was vice president with Obama. Then he is running for the president of the United States. But you have to remember that Kamala Harris was running for the president of the United States. But while she was doing that, she made a statement, a public statement, that Joe Biden is a racist. Now, if she thought Joe Biden was a racist,
why are you teaming up
why would she say that when behind the scenes she has been best friends with Joe Biden and his oldest son that was deceased for years? This is how Joe Biden met her, is through his oldest son that was a DA just like her. So now Joe Biden chooses her as his running mate to be vice president. So when she said he was a racist, I think she said that to throw the public off, to have people think that she and Joe Biden are not that chummy. In retrospect, they are, because now she's on his ticket to be the vice president. So now you have a man that's been in Congress almost like 100 years, but
47.
The real number, 47 years.
That's almost 50.
So, like I said, he done wrote all these crime bills. She was a top DA in California and then locked up all these people with those crime bills. You mean to tell me those two people want to get in the White House? They're going to be in cahoots. And then, see, the black people are not paying attention to that. And I really particularly want to call one state out because, you know, you got black people in all of the states, you know, that might vote for Joe Biden, but particularly, I want to speak about Texas because.
What about Texas? What about Texas?
You know, Texas is one of the a big state, but the black people in Texas to me are dumb. They are really dumb right now because they've been dumbed down into thinking that Joe Biden is going to do something for them because now they're trying to flip Texas blue. And they saying it's been a long time coming. They on TV celebrating. Well, what they fail to realize is that Texas has a 13% population of black people. But the black people make up 27% of all the people that's in jail in Texas. That's just in jail. And then there is another 33% of black people that make up the prison population. So you mean to tell me that out of the whole state, you're only 13%, okay? But when it comes to jail, you're 27%, and when it comes to prison, you're 33%. So this is what is happening to black people in Texas, and they want to flip the vote blue and have Joe Biden as the president.
Well,
Did they fail to realize that all the crime bills that Joe Biden wrote and pushed in through legislation is what got the black people in jail?
Well, you know, every major crime bill since 1976 that come out of Congress had a Democratic senator.
I understand that. But look, that wasn't my point. My point is, I understand that the Democrats was at the helm of a lot of things, but I was specifically talking about Joe Biden because Joe Biden is the presidential candidate at this point. Kamala Harris is the person that's trying to be the vice president. So I was specifically talking about Texas and the Democratic Party because the Democrats are trying to flip Texas blue, which means they want Texas to be Democrat. But the black people in Texas are not realizing that the person that they are trying to make the president of the United States and the vice president of the United States has been mass incarcerating black people. So you mean to tell me that 13% of the people in Texas are black?
Right.
27% of the black people in Texas are in jail, and another 33% of the people in prison are black. So why are you voting for the people that put you in jail? Or put your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your niece, your nephew in jail? Why would you do that?
Well, this has been going on for years. I keep preaching to my people, my African American people, that the Republican Party was founded specifically to abolish slavery. The KKK became the terrorists for the Democratic Party.
Exactly.
I remember back President Woodrow Wilson, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Harry Truman. They couldn't have won the election without the KKK helping them. People, black people, y'all forgot. They used to kill us, hang us, burn us, shoot us, stab us, and make us vote for the Democratic Party. And they forget back in 1964, Lyndon Johnson said, I'll have those niggas voting for Democrat for the next 200 years. Because he gave out welfare. Everybody talking about this big switch. You know why it was a big switch? Because they gave out welfare. That's why all the black people switched from Republican to Democrat, to get the benefits. Had nothing to do with their beliefs. Had nothing to do with their beliefs.
Yeah, but right now, at the same time, what you fail to realize, there are a lot of black people that are homeowners. They're principals, they're teachers, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're politicians, they're engineers, they're all kinds of things. But they are still now brainwashed to vote Democrat. That was my point. So they fail to realize that all their people are still being mass incarcerated by some of these crime bills that Joe Biden helped write and to put into legislature in the 70s. This was back in the 70s when Joe Biden said he knows how to control the Negro. Then he turned around and called all black men super predators. Okay? And if you remember, there's some old movies out called Predator. And there's a lot of Democrats in Hollywood. So after Joe Biden came out and called a black man super predators, all these Predator movies came out. And when you went to the movie to see Predator, people were scared and, the Predator, he bad, he this, he that, and he was hard to kill and all this. So that put something in people's mind, even on down to now how the police handle black men, or anybody who feel like a black man is a threat, or a black woman is a threat. You always got to be the hungry black woman. You got to be the big, bad, crazy black man. We had to kill you. We had to shoot you 20 times and make you stop and all this kind of stuff. All this has something to do with all of this mind manipulation. And Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself because now he wants these same people. They are doing it. To come and vote for him. And you don't put their uncles, their husbands, their cousins, everybody in jail. And now they coming to vote for you. And Texas is a state that should be ashamed of their self because they are allowing themselves to be manipulated.
Well, they're brainwashed. I mean, the natural home of the racism is the Democratic Party. They're just brainwashed. We've been brainwashed for years.
But they not the only state because I was looking at some of the preliminary things that's happening now while the election is going on. And Trump, he has to get a few states in order for him to stay in the running, which he got to keep Wisconsin, he got to keep Michigan, he has to keep Pennsylvania. And Wisconsin is the same thing. The majority of the people in that city and state that's in jail is black people. Michigan is the same thing. 14% of the population in Michigan is black, but 50% of the people in jail are black. How does that happen? You know? I mean, they never talk about the fact that Donald Trump did that First Step Act, and he was letting a lot of black people out of jail that's been sitting in jail on them crime bills that Joe Biden wrote and pushed through, and Kamala Harris prosecuted a lot of these people. Kamala Harris incarcerated close to 2,000 people on simple marijuana charges or possessions of marijuana, and they end up getting 5 to 10 years and all this kind of nonsense. When she claims she smoked marijuana while she was in college in 1986.
When it was
marijuana
illegal.
was illegal then, so why did she lock herself up? You know? So a lot of these cases need to go back and investigate it because it's not fair.
No, it's not fair because a lot of these people that were thrown in jail for marijuana, and now marijuana is legal, and you didn't give these people life.
Exactly. Just like Donald Trump, that lady named Alice, I don't know what her last name is, I forget, Walker or something, I forget her last name, but Donald Trump let her out of jail. They put her in jail for life, and she caught a simple charge of possession of cocaine and some other things. She had no prior offenses or anything, but she was about to do life in jail. And it's a long list of people incarcerated that's been in jail 10, 15 years because of Joe Biden's crime bills. That mandatory minimum, the 3 strikes law, and some other bills that he drafted and pushed through legislation. And it's not fair because right is right and wrong is wrong, and black people is failing to realize that. So you want these 2 people in the White House? They already made a statement when they get in the White House, or if they get in the White House, it's going to be business as usual. And a lot of these Democrats, getting back to the Hollywood thing that I was saying, how about the Predator movies and that sort of stuff, there are a lot of Democrats in Hollywood. Before Donald Trump was president, they was all friends with Donald Trump. When he's president, they hate him. And I was going to say also that these Democrats are behind the scenes doing a lot of sneaky things. You see? And
what kind of sneaky things? Like what?
Well, look, one of the sneaky things that these Democrats are up to, they want Joe Biden back up in that in the politics real deep and heavy. Because he already was a vice president with Obama.
Right.
He's still walking around doing things, but they want him in that White House as president for business as usual, and Kamala Harris back up in there with her knowledge of being a DA. Because a lot of these Democrats over in Hollywood, they have a vested interest. A lot of them own private prisons. And the ankle monitors where you wear when you go in jail and you come out and you have ankle monitor, they own a lot of those companies. Yeah, so they want Joe Biden in there and locking up people so they can make some money. Donald Trump getting people out of jail with that First Step Act, he's getting people out.
And they putting them in.
Harris is about putting people in.
He getting them out and they putting them in.
Yeah. So this is why they want Donald Trump out the way, because Donald Trump is interrupting a lot of people's business because, like I said in my opening statement, Donald Trump is trying to run the United States of America like a business the way that it is, because Washington, D.C. has a license to do business with America. This is what people fail to realize. Washington, D.C. has a license to do business with America. So Donald Trump is treated just like a business. They don't want that.
Right.
They want to run it raggedy, just like they want you. Like you got, I say, even Maxine Waters, for instance, over here, she supposed to be over there in California minding her business. She all up in Washington D.C. I'll get Trump out of there. I can't stand that man. He needs to get out of there. And she need to go back over there to California and deal with her homeless crisis. She got 40,000 homeless people just in her district alone in California. And I've seen some of the snippets all around the world of the homeless crisis. Everybody needs to be made to stay and do their job where they're supposed to be. Get out of Washington, D.C. Let Donald Trump do his job. Let him clean this stuff up and get these other countries to pay their import, export, their tariffs, whatever they need to do, and start this slate clean, get these stimulus money. This is the problem there with the stimulus. Donald Trump wanted to give every household, every man and woman in the household, $1,200 twice. every child $500 twice. Donald Trump was even giving
Who stopped it?
inmates in prison. He was gonna get $1,200 stimulus too. They could get money too. Okay?
So the prisoners. So I didn't know that he was gonna give the prisoners money. So all the inmates was gonna get money.
They got paperwork. The prisoners got paperwork that signed for their $1,200. Do you know how much commissary they could get, or they could send at home to help their families or whatever while they in prison? You know, Donald Trump trying to make everybody feel human because they still human and they have kids. And some of them people are in jail and shouldn't be in jail. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care if you're in jail, you still need to eat. You need toiletries, you need all kinds of things. And some of them
Well, they eating
got
good.
kids that make long trips up there to see it. The kids in school want some tennis shoes. The lead daddy can say, this came from me. You know? Everybody deserves that opportunity. Some people messed up bad and ain't supposed to be in jail. A lot of people in jail ain't supposed to be in there. There's a lot of them walking around that should be in there. That's all I'm going to say about it. My thing is, anybody should have got that money. And he was going to get all the kids $500. The Democrats got in the way of that. That's why the stimulus money ain't touched down. And then, Nancy Pelosi, let's do the unemployment. And you see people in other countries was filing unemployment over here. All she want to do is stop Trump. Why didn't you get over there and make sure unemployment was running smoothly? You didn't do that. You just want to stop something.
Yeah.
The unemployment is backed up 6-7 months, and now people facing evictions and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. People. That's crazy. People out of the country filing for unemployment. I mean, that America's too nice.
And then people in the country. Some of them, they say one person sometimes had 10 to 15 claims open. You know, just like Donald Trump said about the election. This is 2020. Why didn't the voting polls have to be up to date and everybody can calculate, just boom, go touch something with your name and then sign your ID or whatever, boom, that's your vote. They still got all these mock ballots, send this over here, do this, do that. It's not right. This is 2020. They should have something that's more up to date. You know, and the unemployment system should be the same way. It's just a hot mess everywhere you turn, and every time you turn around, somebody is a trained expert. Let's speak to the expert. Expert don't know nothing. Don't know nothing. Got everything is a hot mess. So,
Okay, Carla, where we do appreciate your feedback. I'm gonna sit up in here and go over this, round up this election. I think it's going to be a tough battle. I'm looking at it now. Trump winning some states, Biden winning some states. So we'll see.
So they got all those other ballots, and it's going to be a mess because some of the polls they closed them down, so they couldn't do no more. And then a judge got on some of them because of the fact the judge had told these post office that they have to have all those ballots at a certain time set off, and they didn't do it. So I don't know if some people ballots might not even get voted or tabulated because of that. So now they got a lot of issues to resolve. But Donald Trump said after tonight, he getting his attorneys on everything.
Yeah, because it ain't fair. Yeah, because it really isn't fair. I mean, if your ballot isn't in by today, it shouldn't count. How you just gonna be mailing out your damn ballot today or even a day before the election? You know, you should have had that in last week, over the weekend at the latest. Okay, Carla, well, we appreciate. Yeah, I had some key facts I wanted to talk about when we had the caller on the line. I couldn't really get them all out, but dating back to 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson convinced the lowest white man that he was better than the best colored man. And before Lyndon Johnson took office, there was black children born without a father in the house was at 7%. After he left office, 73%. But y'all still keep voting for these Democrats. Did you know President Roosevelt won a record 4 presidential elections And he served from 1933 until he died in 1945. That's amazing. That would be crazy if you could serve 4 terms in this era. President Roosevelt also, dating back to June 1939, he had a picnic for Queen Elizabeth and King George. And you know this fool served them hot dogs? I mean, was that big back in 1939? You gave the Queen hot dogs. That's crazy. Like, don't be giving me no, I don't even like hot dogs. But that's crazy. That's like giving the Queen a hamburger. But I could see if they came into the country and they never had a hamburger. Or maybe they never had a hot dog. I don't know. It just seemed bizarre to me. And people, everybody, going back to the big switch. Everybody keeps talking about, way back then, African Americans were Republican, but we switched. Well, the big switch is a myth. There have been at least 6 party systems throughout the history of the United States. Franklin D. Roosevelt created the coalition. This same coalition supported new social welfare programs, brought together many underprivileged working class and minority groups, Catholics, Jews. It also attracted African Americans who had previously supported Republican Party due to Lincoln freeing of the slaves. This era lasted into the early 1970s. We got a caller on the line.
Yes. You got Jimmy Jam speaking.
Jimmy Jam.
Listen loud and clear.
Jimmy Jam, what's on your mind? We talking about the election, Jimmy Jam. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Badass helpers, badass punk ass presidents, badass reporting. It's a number of things that's on my mind, and don't get me started with my wife.
Oh,
given the history of this country, the people have never decided the presidential candidate and or the president. That's how dumb people are. Not since I think it was 1878 or something like that, where they have never decided who the president is. The people your vote doesn't even matter. And it's really an embarrassment to not only the nation, but in addition to the people themselves.
See,
so
you don't vote all you want, but the
college vote is the one that's going to dictate exactly who that president will be. And do you know, for the record, that every president has been related since the 1800s? Do you know that?
every president's been what? Every president's been what?
They've all been related. Even Dick Cheney's stupid ass, and I didn't like him. I never liked him when he was riding a shotgun with who is it? George W. He even said, yes, Barack Obama and I are related. We are cousins.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up here. I thank you guys for tuning in. This was a special edition for the election. We normally don't record on Tuesday nights, but we did this for you. I hope you enjoyed the show. Until the next time, I'll see you guys later.